House, everyone. You're obviously confused and aroused.
Then where are we now?
Do you have idiots on your planet?
It's me, Zoidberg, remember from high school?
Harem, I can barely see him. I also can't see you while you listen to Slurmcast, a podcast for no reason. Today we'll be discussing Season 9, Episode 13, Naturama. My name is Michelle Burlingame. Not with me are Tommy Roulette,
How's it going?
Pete Woodward,
I don't have a name. I'm a salmon.
and our guest today, John Kay.
Hello.
Welcome
Hello.
back.
Thanks for having me.
You
Nice
you
to be
made
here.
it. You made it through the electrons and the ether.
It's weird internet phone.
It's kind
Is
of
that
like
what they
Mike. Well, it's like Mike TV and Willy Wonka. You know, you get shrunk down and sent through the air in a million tiny particles.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Then you show up on the TV. But
I've
you have
always
to get
wanted to be on
stretched
the
out.
TV.
I wish our listeners could see us when we do these, because we got Pete on the beach and we got John in a Waffle House, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm in
Yeah.
Waffle House.
I wish I was at Waffle House, for
It's been
real.
my dream for a while now.
I unfortunately can't
Let
do a
it go.
background.
Yeah, my computer is too old. I can do it on my phone and my iPad, but laptop is a little bit too ancient to do the
I
background.
downloaded a Twin Peaks background of the Red Room for my work Zoom.
Mhm.
And I won't use it with a client, but I had it on an internal call, and I get a message from them like, "Of course you'd have a Twin Peaks background." I'm like, "What do you want from me?" Fine.
I have
seems
been
like a pretty-
using I've been using Delaware, like from Wayne's World, where they go, "Hi, I'm in Delaware."
That's a good one.
Well, this beachy scene will match my pineapple white claw just delightfully. It's perfect. Well, you guys are saying that you liked this episode. I was a little lukewarm on it.
Well, I liked it as far as being a stronger one of the season.
Okay.
I feel like
That's true. It is, yeah.
the last couple of seasons they just didn't really seem to care as much. Like the animation's great, the voices are awesome. Like they've all found their voices by this time. Obviously, the performances are great, but the stories are just like they're not terrible. They're just like the newer seasons of The Simpsons. They're just like here's a situation that didn't go anywhere. Like okay,
Yeah.
It's a-
Have you seen any of the recent episodes of The Simpsons? I'm still watching them.
I don't think I've seen anything in the last year. Maybe from like the 29th season.
They just did a two-parter with Pete
Well, they ever done? Oh,
Holmes.
I guess they have. Done.
yeah.
They've done a couple two-parters, but I think this one was okay. It was about a new reverend comes to town, played by Pete Holmes.
Oh dear.
Is Lovejoy
Um,
gone?
Well, no. He gets they basically they place an ad for a youth pastor, and then Pete Holmes shows up and he's like, "Cool reverend,"
Nice.
and everybody likes him more than Lovejoy, and he becomes the new reverend. So they also, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, did an episode where Marge gets a job at a pot store. And
Really?
I was just thinking, like, that is the odd, like, they never would have done that in
Yeah, that's,
any prior seasons up till now. Marge would never work in a pot shop.
It's so odd.
Yeah,
I mean,
and Kevin Smith, of course, was the guest star.
Oh, yeah.
Oh dear.
Hmm.
I did like at the intro how it did that jag into the Mutual of Omicron Wild Universe, like animal stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and the face hugger.
Yeah. Yeah, those
that
are.
was-
I mean, that was a nice little thing, especially where it was just like it completely cut out, went to that, came back to the jumbotron, and was done.
And the animation was really cool looking. I thought, like for the how they switched it up for that little bit.
Yeah,
really cool.
I just don't. I didn't know where this was gonna go, and then as it unfolded, I was really kind of like, I didn't get too invested in it.
Yeah, it's good. I was thinking, I was rewatching it a couple times, and I was for this podcast, and I was thinking how it's there's not a lot to talk about unless we just shout out the quotes from this show, from this episode.
Well, okay. How much time have any of you spent watching nature documentaries?
I think this came out right around the time that Planet Earth was really big.
Okay.
And I think that was really, whatever that penguin documentary was, the March of the Penguins or whatever. Those were both pretty big at the time that this episode came out, I believe. So I was guessing that was kind of the reference here.
They're just jumping on that bandwagon.
Yeah. And they always do a one-off, anthology type episode.
Right. I mean, it was interesting, but like the whole, so like say with the salmon life cycle thing, there was enough of the real salmon life cycle in that to be like, man, that's pretty fucked up. Like where they swim downstream to the ocean, and they all swim back upstream, and just so they can do it and then die.
Yeah, that one was somewhat informative.
Mm-hmm.
But the everybody getting kind of converted into a fish was a little weird.
I had a problem with Bender being turned into a fish because he's made of metal.
Well, he's
right.
Animal in all of these.
Yeah,
yes, but the fish one really threw me off for some reason.
He still had his antenna.
Did he? Was he like an anglerfish?
No, I mean, he was still a salmon, but he still had his antenna, which is weird.
Had a little
and like
boop
his
on
eye
top.
thing.
I mean, the thing of all the fish dying, or like when they go over the first set of waterfalls and they're like, well, only 3 dead out of our foamy plunge. Like, okay, that's fun. But to see him, you see the characters get lost right off the bat, and like then it just turns into a Zap and Leela Fry shenanigan, which is just kind of tired in and of itself already. I don't know.
There wasn't much.
No, I don't think anyone's disagreeing with you.
There wasn't much.
So what else do you guys want to talk about?
I do like how Lur and Nanunda were the bears in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like,
cool.
Or the Morbo Salmon.
Yeah, Morbo and Linda. Linda was one of the 3 fish that didn't make it, or the 4.
The whole like. I didn't catch all of them, but it was the thing like nobody knows. It could be magnets in their heads, or it could be this or that. And it's just like, I can't go that way just because of the magnets in my head or whatever. Like
he's like, I just told you.
Yeah.
He's like, we just said.
Yeah.
But maybe one of the filthiest lines in the entire series from Leela Fish in this was, at this point in my life cycle, I need a mate who's in squirting distance.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
I mean, like,
I like when Fry yells, help fish police.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think for whatever reason, this particular season, there's been a lot of, like, side discussion about animal reproductive stuff, like our and I'll say even my extensive digression on duck penises a few episodes back. But like,
yeah, maybe the writers were just like real kinky place when
fish reproduction is just weird. It's just like, here's all my, you just dump it out in the water and maybe it works. I mean,
they used a bunch of science words. I believed it.
Yeah, no, I think it's right. Like, it's just, it's just messy. Reproduction is messy. It's messy at the beginning.
I've seen
it's
movies.
Messy at the end. Did you have to see that movie in grade school?
And at the Health Museum?
The one
we watched this horrifying movie at the Health Museum. Oh, we watched it in grade school, like
the Miracle of Birth or whatever, the Nova from PBS.
Yeah, I had to watch that at the Health Museum.
That was
a girl in my class fainted. And like all the dudes were just giggling in the corner, and a girl fainted, and it was confusing.
I mean, it's intense. It's an intense thing, and that's just people, which theoretically seems the most normal to us. But then you get into like ducks and fish and everything else, and it gets real strange.
Yeah,
especially the fish.
The Zoidberg crab eating Hermes was sort of weird. Was that just
head first?
I liked Zoidberg crab. He showed up twice.
Head
I
first,
think.
he ate him.
He's kind of like Sebastian from The Little Mermaid in this.
Yeah.
Who does he eat first? Is it the
Scruffy?
I think it's
Scruffy, I
Scruffy
think.
fish.
Or
Yeah.
no, yeah.
Because
Yeah, it was
Scruffy's
Scruffy.
backbone was really weird looking. His ribs, like he ate, something was weird looking.
Yeah.
He was a fish also, so that might have been it.
Yeah, did he have a mustache? Like I was writing notes and I heard his voice and then he was gone already.
Mhm.
That's the thing about this episode. All of it happened so fast. Like you were saying, you only get to see like the professor fish for like 2 seconds, then he's gone.
Yeah, it was odd.
He dies like right away. He's one of the ones that doesn't make it up before
Down the waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the best part of it was it had a happy ending, and then that's a really dirty line in there too.
I like the Bender bit when he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready to go again," and then he's like, starts dying.
Dies.
Do fish cough for real?
That's what.
I
That
don't
also
think
bothered
they
me.
can.
I don't. You would think, but I gotta.
Yeah,
look
don't they?
that up.
I mean, they can blow water out of their mouth.
Is it coughing when you cough out water? I mean, there's no air for them to cough.
But they breathe water.
Yeah. I don't know. Can fish cough?
Your hair looks nice, Tom.
Thank you. I decided, no barbershops or hair salons. They're just gonna get rid of
Simple.
it all.
You
A
look
fish. A fish does indeed cough.
Hmm.
Yeah, just not the way you think it coughs.
It's out its butthole.
It's it's when their ventilation cycle gets interrupted, they do that to cleanse their gills. Weird.
So they cough out their gills.
Yeah. Which, I mean, like if you were Kevin Costner in Waterworks or Waterworld, you'd be like,
Gross.
Yeah.
Gross on so many levels. Kevin
yeah,
Costner.
I know. I mean, given the state of many of our other 80s action heroes, he kind of came out pretty clean.
Was he an action hero though? I mean, just because he was a little Robin Hood-y.
He was in that one movie with the guy. Was it The Bodyguard? He was in that.
I guess he was the bodyguard technically.
Dances with Wolves.
I mean,
Who?
The one about the baseball.
Kevin Costner.
Oh, how many? Oh my God. Yeah.
But I never thought of him as like an action star.
Well, he was like
an action movie guy.
He was like the subdued romantic action star.
It was like they were always trying to make him like that, but it just wouldn't. We were always like, "It's that dude, though."
I know.
He can't pull that off.
But that he's never had, as far as we know, some kind of like crazy drunken anti-Semitic rant for several years, like Mel Gibson or something. That's really the point I'm getting at,
Not that you know of.
Not that I know of. I mean, maybe TMZ knows.
Oh man, he was Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Oh my
the
God,
best
that's
action
right.
movie.
Yeah.
I said that first.
And he was
That was the
Elliot
first thing I
Ness
said.
in the Untouchables.
Yeah, but it wasn't like he was like doing kickflips in that.
He was in Waterworld.
Kickflipping?
Kick flipping, water flipping, peeing into a Mr. Coffee.
I did not see Waterworld.
Can you do that?
It's been a long time, but I have seen it.
It's
Waterworld.
What's it about?
Not someone.
Is it?
There's no
I mean-
like dry land in the future. It's all water.
So it's like
Is
Miami
the
in 10
ice caps and
years.
stuff?
Bob Burgers just referenced it in one of their last couple episodes as well.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Um,
There was a Robert Plant song in that beginning bit of the show. That Sea of Love song.
Is that a Robert Plant song?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
Right.
the Honey Drippers.
I heard his voice. I was like, oh god, it sounds just like him.
on the Futurama
Yeah,
episode,
Yeah.
I totally passed by me. I didn't know that.
it was in the salmon bit.
Huh.
Yeah, it was Sea of Love by the Honey Drippers,
Completely oblivious to it.
which was Robert Plant.
Yeah.
Yep.
I heard he drips honey all over from his lemons.
Yeah, you squeeze him hard enough,
Juice runs down his
right
leg.
down his leg. Super weird. The weirdest bit was me singing that in the car driving around with my mom and not realizing what I was singing because I was a kid. And that was uncomfortable.
You're thinking like he's making lemonade. He's got her making. She's making lemonade for him, and she's real messy.
Rock stars are so messy.
They're very sloppy people. This you might know better than any of us. How messy does the green room get at the Grog Shop after your average show?
It's so gross. People are gross.
I mean, is it like, I imagine just from my experience in green rooms in general, there's a baseline of filth, but then what gets added on top of that? Sometimes it's nicer in there than other times, but just generally speaking, and then you add all this like hospitality in, and people are just gross. They start throwing like cold cuts at each other and shit.
I mean, there's probably that kind of shit going on, but it's just I don't see any of it. I just have to go in there and clean it up afterwards. So I'm just like picking random shit up from random places. So
oh God.
Yeah, it's people are gross.
Yes.
Very gross.
Almost as gross as fish having sex. Almost.
And then dying. Then they died.
And then you've got dead fish and fish spunk all over. So it's a double mess.
So like when the fish die, do you think the animal, like bears, would pick up those fish, or are they like, oh, that one's already dead?
That's what I was wondering. What happened? Like, is there a time where all these fish just like float up and die, and then they just get carried downstream back?
Bear
I think so, but I mean, the bears can probably tell when they're edible still, or otherwise the seagulls will take care of it.
Oh yeah,
seagulls don't give a fuck. They just eat whatever.
Gross.
Speaking of seagulls, which this has nothing to do with seagulls, I watched a bunch of crows all like fight an eagle off, or not an eagle, a hawk off, because it was in their area. Like three different like crows like got from their different nests, like came at this
are gnarly
hawk and just like were dive bombing it, and the hawk just like kept flying off, and they just kept attacking it till it like flew away, and then they all went back to their respected areas.
Where was this?
In my backyard.
Yes.
Were they trying? Was the hawk coming to eat your rodents or something?
I don't know.
Was it tapping on your window?
It was going for Tom.
We had a social distancing visit from Becca's brother for her birthday the other day, and we were just out, and we just heard these crows go crazy, and then a hawk, and then just watched them just like start attacking it.
What if they were in cahoots, and then there were like two other crows sneaking into your house to steal your pet rodents?
I don't have any pet rodents left. No.
Rodents are smart.
What happened to them?
Well, we had rats, and they died like a while ago.
All right.
Smoking?
That's what killed them.
They died from smoking.
Yeah. Actually, one of them actually had a tumor, his lower jaw and his neck, and it ate away his lower jaw to the point where he couldn't eat anymore. So we had to put him down.
The tobacco? Was he a lip,
he was
a dip guy?
Was he eating too much pizza? Was it a pizza rat?
Pizza rat.
Oh, poor buddies.
Maybe if you tied their tails together like a rat king.
Oh, rat king.
They could have siphoned off each other's energy and healed.
So I'm confused. Are rat kings real?
The legend of rat kings is real.
It's a real thing. It is a real thing where rats, they burrow together and their tails get intertangled and knotted.
Are they stuck?
Yes.
Okay, so they get stuck. Gross.
It's real.
And then
I don't see rats being above biting off their own tails though. Like, how long do they actually stay stuck?
This is, I think, the third time we've talked about rat kings on this podcast.
Oh, I'm sure.
Really?
Yeah, I think it comes up often.
Yeah.
I might have been on one of the ones where we talked about it.
I think you were, actually.
I'm fascinated with this. I can never remember though.
I mean, speaking of seagulls, that second episode, they were all basically seagulls in that. Or some other kind of tropical bird.
They were finches.
Finches.
Yeah.
That's right.
They were Galapagos finches.
Right.
I like that part, and I like when Fry was hopping around and going, yeah, or whatever he was saying.
Would you?
Would you?
This, I think I like this one the best out of the three.
I
Mhm.
think so
cute.
too.
And
And go ahead.
the actual real Pinta Island tortoise, the last one died in like June 2012, and this came out in like August 2012.
So that might have been part of it too.
Yeah.
Did are there still blue-footed boobies? Because Zoidberg going, look, I'm a
think that's-
blue-footed booby.
I think that's the
I
first time that Zoidberg was portrayed as any other type of animal than a crustacean. I don't think he's ever been a
Oh.
bird.
Yeah,
It was weird.
He was a good bird. It made sense.
he was.
I like how they
I
cut
mean-
him off when they just
Yeah.
like, pan away
Yeah.
from him when he talks.
Because I've got these blue feet.
You see? And then I like how Amy got eaten. She's like, "That's so interesting."
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, especially now, I would probably get cheered up if I had a symbiotic parasite cleaning myself. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Like, have you ever seen those things where I'm gonna say that you see them in a mall. I'm probably misremembering this, but you stick your feet into little tubs of water that are full of like minnows, and then they eat all the dead skin off your feet.
Dr.
Like
Fish.
Is that really a thing? Is that
It's
what
banned
it's
in
called?
the United States.
Oh,
It's
it is?
super, super unhygienic and not safe.
Why? Because it's a dirty tank of water full of fish and shit
That
eating
have been
skin
eating
off of
other
people's
people.
feet.
Yes.
Wait, what if you get
Yeah.
fresh ones?
I mean, maybe the first time, if you have completely fresh ones, it probably is nice, but you don't. How do you know a fish doesn't already have crap in its mouth?
I mean, there might be an opportunity here for
Oh,
us to
crap,
do like
no.
black market Dr. Fish parties.
We should
You
just
know?
use beta fish, though.
And
Whatever.
then you take pictures of the people getting it done to them, and then you blackmail the people with them.
Uh-huh.
Black
Yeah,
market blackmail party
both ways. You could probably only get a couple of them out though before it became difficult.
with hookers and blackjack.
I think the professor made a good tortoise.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
Which I will refer to alternately as a tortoise or a turtle, because my brother used to have a tortoise, and I would call it a turtle, and he'd get really mad and insist it was a tortoise.
They're completely different.
I mean, are they though? They're
Yes.
both round
Yes.
little things with shells
Okay,
and legs.
let's talk about this though. How are they? What's the major difference? Is one of them's like a round shell, and one of them's like a. Is that what it is? I don't know.
I mean,
anything
it's
about
like
this. I'm
saying
making all
that an
this up.
alligator and a crocodile are the same, or
I mean,
like
they
a
basically are though.
chimpanzee and an orangutan are the same.
No,
But I'm
orangutans
just
are
asking-
orange.
Those are all. It's the
No,
same.
I
They're
I
not.
can see that they're different, but I'm wondering what. Like, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference if I saw one. Like, if someone told me this is a tortoise, I'd be like, okay, that's a tortoise.
Turtles
But I
are
wouldn't.
aquatic. Tortoises are on land. That's the main difference.
What if you're a turtle and you're walking around on the ground?
I mean, turtles can be on the ground, but tortoises don't need to like go swimming in water. Turtles
Do
can.
turtles turn into tortoises when they go on
Tortoises
land?
more have like almost hoofs type feet.
Oh,
Wait, okay, so a turtle is like a mer tortoise.
Yeah, there we go.
turtle's like a slippery tortoise.
I mean, I am.
Whole slippery tortoise.
I mean, John, who doesn't like a slippery tortoise?
That was a disgusting drink, I think.
It's,
Oh, that
it's,
was a
it's gonna be.
slippery. What was it? The slippery midget?
What?
Are you thinking
Was
of the
it
buttery
drink-
nipple?
No, it was a shot of whiskey with a smoky in it.
Oh God.
Ew.
Cheers.
What is that from?
This is from the '90s grog shop.
I thought the other thing that was interesting about this is they did sort of differentiate the people as different animals. I mean, because you had the professor as a tortoise, you had most of them as birds. Bender was a lizard. Sal was a snake.
Yeah, Sal ate Amy.
But the you know the good part with this Maybe my favorite line in it. Not as good as I need a mate that's within squirting distance, but she's a real cloaca shrinker.
Oh yeah, I like how they work these good words in.
I mean, while I was researching duck penises, I gave some thought to cloacas in general. Was it cloacae? Cloacae? Neither here nor there. But what if you only had one hole? One hole for everything.
What
for your number ones, your number twos, your sexy time, everything. A single hole.
What about eating? You have mouth still?
We'd have mouth,
nostrils.
I'm talking about lower extremity holes.
Make it a lot easier to clean down there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, one hole. Everything happens out of that one hole.
What if you had to shove an egg out of it?
What if humans had to lay eggs and then you'd have to fertilize it?
That would get messy. It would be
Are
like
they
those
hard
videos
shelled?
from Japan.
Or like soft eggs, like a leathery sack sort of egg. Because that'd be gross
leathery
too.
sack. I mean, the leathery sack ought to be a drink too.
Gross. No, it shouldn't.
I feel like that's a drink at a gay bar.
I mean, it could be where it's like, oh God.
Like it would be at the what's the bar next to it'd be at the Hawk.
You didn't
like
even
that would
need
be
to
the
finish
drink
that.
special one night.
I mean,
what's the
so
bar next to? Oh, the Hawk.
It would have to be. It'd have to be based on a brown liquor because it would have to be like somebody who was tanned too much.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
like maybe it could be like a shot of whiskey with a Tide Pod in it.
I feel like that would be better than a clear liquor.
I mean, I think it would go over either way at the Hawk, and certainly at Class.
As long as it's flammable.
Or have you ever seen like drinking milk out of a Ziploc bag? It could just be a Ziploc bag full of whiskey.
Oh, that'd be good.
Like a Capri Sun.
I could see that, and then you have a free Coke straw afterwards.
Oh God. It's probably used.
Just floating in there.
Yeah.
Gross.
So I missed kind of the part where like they how did they decide to go find the mate? The professor was like, "Oh, I left her 100 years ago or whatever." Like, what was?
And they're like, it's just right over there under the tree.
100 feet away. Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, it might as well be 200 feet away at my age." Like, they're like, "Okay, come on." Also, Bender would have been really fast. Have you ever seen like iguanas run? So, like they get like all weird and creepy run.
Yeah.
I did not like Bender as the iguana because he was way too like gray. I've never seen a grayish blue like lizard like that or iguana, and I've seen every iguana known to man.
Ever.
And what's up with?
Wait, what's the bluest that they get?
They get like blue. They get blue. No, yeah, blue, but I've never seen like a gray blue one. And what were the big round things on the side of his head? His ears? Like he didn't have any, like at least the, like, I don't know. Okay, at least like the next one, the elephant seal had like the little.
Oh, you mean because like, there was no way of telling it was him, really?
Yeah, until
other
he
than the color and
spoke.
Yeah.
I guess that was the
he
way.
He didn't open
everyone.
his eyes until he spoke either, though.
Yeah.
So you couldn't tell.
I mean, did it matter? Because he was pretty unnecessary for this story anyway.
No, he just slept on
I thought every story
there.
was about him.
No. When the professor was talking to Fry, the bird, he's like, "What is he? He's like, I'm not Fry. I'm his great-great-grandson Fry."
Yeah.
And then
you can
talks
tell
about
he evolved.
Yeah,
evolved to have this slightly more curve.
That's cool.
Yeah, his beak evolved so that he could eat the fruit that grew on that side of the island.
Oh,
Like that was cool because that was a teaching kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically that whole Darwin thing in the first place.
I feel like that these stories in this episode could have used a lot more actual like real science humor behind it, considering the writers of the show are just like super, smart people.
Yeah, it was kind of a letdown in that way. Where also I feel like the fake Morgan Freeman guy, they should have had
Phil
a fake
Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
They should have had a fake David Attenborough sounding guy.
Now, but Morgan Freeman did March of the Penguins.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And that came out right around this.
Yep.
I mean,
He did Planet Earth.
Was that Sigourney Weaver?
But not the
All
British
of them?
version. The British version was David Attenborough.
Yeah, I think.
I
I
think.
think so.
I know that she overdubbed the American version because I saw the British version first.
Yeah, it was David Attenborough, and Sigourney Weaver did the Discovery Channel version.
Yeah.
Wait, so they
both
just
of those
re-recorded?
both of those are perfect. Like
he
they both
re-recorded
nailed it.
her, or she re-recorded his dialogue for the same video.
for the American release.
I don't know if it's
why.
exact same words.
It wasn't
or
my
not,
choice.
Yeah.
but-
I think it is because some of the wording that she uses is it sticks out a little as sounding like it would sound better with David Attenborough saying it. I haven't gone back and watched the original one since.
They'll put it on at the bar when you're allowed in the bar sometimes, but the sound's always off, so it's just subtitles.
When I went to the Natural History Museum one time, I saw in the like a thing on stars in the place that you see the stars at the museum. What's it called?
Planetarium.
That's right. And it was narrated by Jodie Foster, and that was cool.
Oh,
Except her
that'd be cool.
voice actually put me to sleep. I fell asleep.
She is a real low energy person for the most part.
And then also on Netflix currently, there is some weird, crazy, weird animal documentary thing. And
Tiger King?
No.
No.
It's like just weird animals from around the world, and it's narrated by the chick that is in God, now I can't think of
Is it that bitch Carol Baskin?
It is that bitch. No, in that baking show on Netflix that nailed it.
Nicole
Byer?
Nailed
Nicole
it.
Byer?
Yeah, she narrates it.
She's awesome.
And she just makes she plays Mother Nature in it, and so she narrates as Mother Nature in it. And I couldn't get through it. It was a little bit too dumb.
I don't know. I was so like, she was supposed to be coming here in like June, I think, to Hilarities, and I would love to take BB to see it, but that's not a show for children when she's doing stand-up, because she gets real ass dirty, which is also great. It's just, nailed it is sort of like she's doing her best Bob Saget, America's Funniest Home Videos, which is still entertaining.
I love that show. Nailed it, especially because it's her, and then that like super like just French
Jacques Toulouse.
Yeah, he's like an actual like
He's
confectioner and like
yeah,
and he just has to be on this stupid show.
He's like a world famous dude,
but he's probably making bank on that show.
He made enough money to lose like 50 pounds and get a whole new set of choppers between season 1 and season 2. If you look, like, watch the last episode of season 1 and then go to any episode in season 2, and he's way thinner and he's got these like brand new white veneers on his teeth. And it's just like, it's jarring because it's such a change. You look at it at the beginning, it's like, I have les dents d'un homme français, where there's just these little small smoke stained teeth and stuff. And then he comes back and he looks like, he's got.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. Like, if you haven't had money for a long time, and then
he had money, but he wasn't on TV.
Yeah, that's probably Netflix going. Yeah, we're gonna fix your teeth for you.
You gotta American it up there, buddy. They're gonna talk about the buttercream, the buttercream.
I still have not seen that show, but I should.
You really should, because it's fucking fantastic.
What show is it? I don't even know what we're talking about.
The buttercream is too runny.
It's called Nailed It. It's on Netflix, and it's just like they have amateur bakers try to do like really fancy
Oh, okay, yeah.
baking stuff, and they're like fancy cakes and stuff like that. It's just hilarious because these people are like actual like they don't know how to bake, and
They're not bakers.
They pick
most of them.
Most of them.
Yeah. And then, but like there's a celebrity judge on each one. So a lot of those are people like Jason Mantzoukas and, then they'll have like famous pastry chefs and shit. Like it's really good. But on one episode in the last season, Paul Scheer came on as an actual contestant.
Yeah.
Like instead of being a judge, like they're because it comes out before they introduce the guest judge. They bring out the contestants and they go, it's like, my name's Paul. I'm an actor from, New York, blah, blah, blah. It's just like, he really goes for it. It's great.
That's awesome. I have to check that out.
So the whole thing with the turtle sex at the end, when they find the mom turtle, I knew immediately that he was going to try and hump the rock when there's that big rock just sitting there.
Right.
But,
yeah, I mean, that was a good looking rock.
But mom's response with I'm going to crack that hussy open like a slutty Brazil nut was just beautiful.
See, and their voicing, like the voice, the actual like performances are so good. Like the delivery in every line, even if they're cheesy as hell, they're so good.
But this is where it got really good. Like so as soon as Professor Tortoise and Mom Turtle start doing it, and you get that like just the conversation between like Fry and Bender and Hermie, there's like, should we be watching this? It seems kind of personal. It's like, just pretend you're eating seeds. Is it weird if I talk about his crazy turtle penis?
Animals.
I mean, like that's the thing. If when you see animals doing it out there, like what's your response? Have you ever caught birds? I'll see birds in the backyard every once in a while, and it's a whole like they look like they're fighting, and one's upside down. Like it's just the positioning. It's crazy.
I don't know if I've seen animals doing it as much as I've seen animals taking a shit and then like they'll stare at me. It's really intimidating and weird.
While they're doing it or after?
Yeah. While it's happening, it's like, and then I'm frozen and stuck in time. It's just like, what's happening? What are we doing here?
You want some of this?
It's very awkward. I saw a deer pee the other day.
What?
Yeah, it was weird.
I
definitely didn't know I was watching. It pees like a lady dog, like
They squat
down.
Yeah.
That's super weird.
Was it a lady deer or a man deer?
It was a lady deer, and I saw it poop too. And I've seen deer poop a bunch, but the poop they just don't care. It just like plops out.
It just falls out.
Little,
yeah.
Yeah, little guys, little poop poop.
Kind of like in Walk Like a Man.
But I'd never seen one pee before, so that was a real good day for me.
She's breaking the seal. Where did this happen? Where were you?
My backyard, like right out the window. I was like, yeah.
See, you're missing these monetization opportunities. You could have filmed it, put it up on the German YouTube, and start raking in money.
I should just set up like hidden cameras in the backyard. You get a lot of deer back there.
Yeah, get those trail cams.
Yeah.
You just stick and then you can watch them. I had to rescue.
You nothing else to do.
I had to rescue a baby rabbit out of the chicken wire in our garden because it got scared by the dogs and got caught halfway through and couldn't get out. I heard it from my bedroom screaming as my one dog touched it with its paw. It would just lightly touch it and it would just scream, and I had to cut it out with pliers.
Maybe the bunny, maybe it's all a hoax, and now he thinks, okay, we got the hole cut in the wire. Let's go in and eat some veggies.
There's no
that
veggies
was a decoy.
in it right now.
Not yet, but he's playing the long con.
Yeah, maybe they like to hang out in the dirt.
They do. Actually, I found the nest that he came from. My dog also dug that up, but they were all gone out of there.
Is it just like in the ground kind of nest?
I have 6 rabbits in the house. Long story short.
In the house?
No, I'm just kidding. No, none of them are in the house. I saw
Sounds
one.
like you. Is this part of a Watership Down reenactment that you're making clothes?
Yeah, I was just gonna say something
rabbits?
about that.
You were making clothes for the rats before, so like now if you're making clothes for the bunnies and having them speak with British accents, you know.
It's so weird that you you bring up Watership Down because I haven't thought about that novel in like forever, and we just started recently rewatching Lost because you know what else is there to do right now. And Sawyer watches or reads that in like the first season of it. And I was like, holy crap. I haven't thought of that.
Also weird. I pulled that book off the shelf today.
Weird.
Because I felt like reading it. And then when I opened it up, like a bookmark from the 5th grade fell out.
And that's the one you posted.
That was the book.
With your scholar dollar?
Yeah, my scholar dollar.
What could you buy with scholar dollars?
I think, and I was trying to figure out with my one friend who went to school with me way back then, what teacher it was that we had who gave those scholar dollars out, and we're pretty sure I had the same teacher for 3rd and 5th grade, so it was from one of those 2 years.
Okay.
And she would pass them out, and you could, once you had like a certain number, like $5 scholar dollars got you like a toy from the treasure chest, which had, you know.
So she had her own microcurrency.
You got a scholar dollar if you got like something, like you answered a math question on the board, or you know, did extra credit or something. Like if you did well, you got 1 or 2 scholar dollars, or like if you helped someone else, or you know, elementary school shit.
What is the conversion rate of Shroot bucks to scholar dollars?
I don't know. So my favorite thing was that it was clearly just like a $5 bill that she had plopped down on the photocopier. And then just put like a Post-it note over the face.
Oh, that's awesome.
Bill.
They do that in an episode of Beavis and Butthead. They try to photocopy money and go use it in the convenience store, and they like hand this like sheet of paper over, and then it's just blank, and he flips it over, and there's just the head of the nickel copied on the sheet of paper.
You can't photocopy money anymore. Like the photocopier will know if you're trying to photocopy money. So when I worked at the OSU vet hospital, I worked for the alumni affairs director. So I would handle the alumni association dues. They would usually be sent in like, it was like a dues card with your name and your address and then a check. But some people would send in cash, and part of tracking who had paid their dues, we would copy the card with the check that came with the card. And the girl that worked with me one time tried to photocopy the cash that the person had sent in with the dues card. And every time it would spit out, she's like, I don't understand what's happening. This paper is just all black. And I said, well, you're trying to photocopy money, and the photocopier knows that you're trying to photocopy a bill. And so it was just like blacking out the entire printout with black toner.
Weird.
It knows. They know. You cannot photocopy money anymore.
No, you just print it off of the printer.
Yeah.
Special paper that's like got fibers in it and stuff.
Old pair of underwear.
Yeah, there's linen in it. Linen in it. Isn't there?
Yeah, it's made out of hemp paper.
There's little red and blue fibers inside the dollar bills.
Well, let's not do that.
Wrapping up the tortoise story, though, like the rock that was originally kicked over by mom because she thought it was a mate competitor falls over on their tortoise babies and eliminates the line forever.
Which is Walt, Larry, and Igner.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
they were pretty cute.
I
With their little
mean,
hair cuts.
It
look,
kind of
baby animals are cute.
I mean, the end of all these stories are kind of a bummer. Like the first one,
like the
salmon all just die after they, spray.
Why did they live? Why did they die? No reason.
Pointlessness of life.
And then
I did like that part being,
Mm-hmm.
Nihilist.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all just kind of went downhill after this. The elephant seal one I just didn't really dig.
Honestly, I couldn't get through watching it again last night.
Mm-hmm.
I tried watching it a couple times. It's not bad. It's just like I got so bored. Like I realized
I
I
was
was
zone out.
yeah, I'm looking at my phone and then I'm like, oh, it ended.
Yeah, yeah. I think out of like everything they could have picked for like a nature thing, like all three of them are weird things that they picked to do a nature thing on.
Yeah.
They could have done, I mean, any number of things. But then just this elephant seal thing, I wonder what exactly led them to that. You know what I mean? Like something, they wanted to see somebody as a seal that led to that, I think. It
was probably Randy.
Or Scruffy as a, how can we make Scruffy a walrus?
Yeah,
that was good.
Well, walrus don't need no chicanery. Once a lady goes walrus, oh, who am I kidding? They never go walrus.
Yeah, it did kind of peter out though.
Yeah, I like mating with the Beachmaster because he's the largest. And then it's just like, the Kif and Amy thing. Kif starts pining again for Amy. And Bender's just an obnoxious ass. I'm 40% ass, arf arf. And, it's just like the nibbler fish that they found in the water was a nice little Easter egg thing.
Because he was barely in this season at all.
Yeah.
Who?
But then there's
Nibbler.
Oh, yeah.
There's like the anglerfish nibbler that swallows the thing. But like the Zoidberg octopus of, so welcome to the abyss.
Squid.
Yeah. It was nice.
Leela was not in this one at all.
Are you sure she wasn't one of the harem?
I mean, she never had a line.
Yeah.
Seagal never had a line in this one.
Oh.
I mean,
weird.
Which is
weird. Come on.
You would think they would just at least write something for her. Everyone else.
I mean, they were busy doing orgies. It was like, come on, floozies, let's repopulate.
It was Kiffer.
So this was this wasn't actually the last episode of a season, or it was.
It was, but it aired with the previous episode back to back. So yes and no.
They were just like spitting them out though.
I think so. I'm not sure. But this one did come on. This one was on the same night as 31st Century Fox, which was our last episode. And so they were both kind of technically the season finale.
Yeah, it was like an hour slot for them. And then this one also, I just don't understand if they wanted this one to be the last episode, or if this was something that they chose and then Comedy Central was just like, all right, we're going to put this one last.
Yeah, this is the last one we got. Just throw it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no continuity to it since it's a one-off, so it could really go anywhere.
But that's the one-offs normally were like towards the end of the season.
Yeah, they usually are.
I mean, and just the resolving the whole thing of like Kif challenging Bender to a duel, and Bender just beating the shit out of him. The line with the Beachmaster, stop fighting, he's been dead since yesterday, was kind of nice. So they're just like bam, bam, just nonstop with the two of them just slamming into each other. But the squashed Kif elephant seal at the end of it was pretty great.
Yeah,
he's just like a mess with the face. And then there was the nice like little Easter egg turnaround at the end where Fry and Professor and Hermes and Randy are all sitting there with little baby elephant seals that look like them.
Because they're all
right
as
as it's going away.
They were the sneaky.
Yeah, they
seals.
were the sneaky males.
Yeah. Right after they said they weren't sneaky males, right?
Yeah. Well, if you say you're sneaky, then you're not being sneaky. it's one of those things.
That's true-ish.
But I mean, other than that, it was what do we have to look forward to this next and final season?
To be honest, the next episode I like. It's a interesting episode, Bender centric, but I like it. And
which one's the next? Well, we shouldn't talk about it.
I mean, we can. It doesn't matter. People have seen this. It's the one where
40% lead belly.
Yeah, where Bender becomes the country musician because his idol.
Oh wait, that's the 4th episode of season 10 broadcast.
Oh, is it? Oh, so I don't even know where we are.
In broadcast order, we have. Let's see.
2D blacktop, right? I bet.
Yes, 2D blacktop.
2D like Family Time, like
Facts of Life.
Yeah, like
2D.
2D like 3D, but flat.
Mm-hmm.
2-dimensional.
There's several Bender-centric episodes that come up.
Well, you know, they always focus on the obnoxious guy with the catchphrases once it gets going. It was in its death cycle.
You guys are right. Bender's great.
Maybe I know it.
Oh! Well, that's that.
So overall, we were not impressed.
Not impressed with this episode.
It wasn't as bad as some of the previous episodes.
No.
Not necessarily. I mean, it had some funny lines, like, I don't know. There were some good
I don't think it harmed anything.
There are episodes that if I had to choose between one or the other to watch, I would pick this over, but I would pick this after just about any other episode.
Right.
Fair.
This was named number 18 on IGN's top 25 Future M episodes.
I think that's just because people like weird animal sex.
Yeah, there's no reason for that to be on a top 25 list.
Like the Venn diagram of those two is real overlapping.
Who wrote that list?
The internet.
Max
internet.
Nicholson.
No, sir, Max. Disagree. Hard disagree.
Well,
yeah.
Speaking of ratings,
that, man. Yeah. Bring that up.
Speaking of ratings, we actually got a very nice email from a listener after our many requests for reviews, which I will read. It's a little bit long, so I mean, we'll still go through it because it was pretty.
It's very complimentary.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it starts, hello, Michelle, Tom, and Pete. I don't have Apple products, so I'm unable to review the podcast on iTunes. Also have not figured out how to review podcasts through Google Podcasts, so I figured I could just send it along this way instead. I know it doesn't help the ratings, but at least I can pass along my gratitude to you all for keeping the show going. So here's the review. I've been listening to the podcast from the start because I shared a love of everything Futurama. I remember watching the sneak preview or the initial time the pilot episode was shown on TV. Although my memory around when it was or what it followed, I do remember making a point in watching it. This podcast has gone through some evolutions throughout its life, and I've been there for it all. I wait patiently between episodes when everyone gets a little too busy to get together, and I'm always excited when I see it pop into my feed with a new episode. The spread of age and also interest in this show really brings a diverse sense to each episode and how it's all dissected. The hosts may get off track sometimes. Yeah. Go on some tangents not related at all to the show, but they're always entertaining. Random Pete stories, Tom's updates on the animal count, and Michelle's reactions to some of their tangents, her own stories from art school, or the way she subtly/not subtly redirects everyone back to the topic at hand really helps me get through work while I listen. This podcast has followed me between jobs and is always a beacon of happiness and joy in my life. I do fear that the end is near and there are very few episodes left, but I can always just go back through again, just like I do with the show. Keep it up, stay safe, and I'll be waiting for the next one. 5 stars, Justin H.
Thank you. That's
awesome.
really nice.
It was a
Yeah,
Yeah,
get a
that's
little
really cool.
Yeah, and he had a little PS about he wrote in earlier. Says he wrote in a long time ago to help Pete figure out one of the earlier episodes with the thing longer and what if machine, and appreciated him thanking me on the next podcast. You're always asking for guests, and until the most recent situation with the whole world falling into chaos, I never would have had the chance. I wouldn't mind being a guest if you do need one. We can talk about that. And absolutely, we want you on as a guest, Justin. Please message us or send another email. We'll get you on.
In fact,
Cool.
probably by the time you hear this, you're already going to have recorded your episode.
I mean, I was thinking.
Don't tell anybody if you won.
If he really wanted to, like, I listen to the Dollop all the time, and what they've done with their old episodes is they have two guys in Mexico translating the scripts into Spanish and re-recording them. So, like, if you wanted to take this,
No,
I don't know. I'm not saying us. I do not have the wherewithal or ability or interest in changing it myself into another language. But I don't know. Maybe you speak another language, Justin, or maybe you just want to run a script through Google Translate. But have at it, and then you could just record your own version, translating our scripts into a different language. You could actually do all of the hosts in different languages, and then it would be a really polyglot clusterfuck. Just a thought.
Confusing.
I mean, I got to take it somewhere.
What we're going to do is we're going to watch all the Futurama episodes backwards and then talk about them.
In reverse order?
Like in reverse reverse order, or actually
backwards.
Actually backwards.
Backwards
Yeah.
video and audio.
Oh.
What if there ended up being some like really super deep secret to that, where like they have dialogue interspersed throughout the episodes that when you play it backwards is like a whole different storyline, kind of like they did with the alien language? Is that a little too tinfoil hat?
I don't know.
It seems a little more just impossible.
I mean,
sounds like
To
more
pull
effort
off.
than I want to expend.
yeah. Oh, 100%.
Doing literally anything.
100% for me
Yeah.
too, but it was just a thought.
Mhm.
Well, in the interim since the last time we saw you before the pandemic, and maybe even during, what have you been up to, John? Where can people find you? I think doesn't Fits of Hail have something new coming out?
We do have a record that will be out. I think it just came out actually. It is on Alan's record label, which is the Sound of the Sea, I believe it's called. Sorry, I'm really bad at everything, but I wasn't ready for this part of it yet. Yeah, it's a new album. We recorded the basic tracks for it a while ago, but we've been slowly finishing it basically. Yeah, that's it. That's about it, really.
Cool.
Well, I mean, you guys are great. Like, it's really, I love seeing you guys play, because it's just like there's so much like talent and good stuff happening in that. And
It's all Chris, man. We're just following him.
yeah, but I mean, Chris is super talented, and you know, I got to play with him in Lottery League a couple of years ago, but with Mike and Alan too. Like, those guys know what they're doing, so it all gets executed really super well. So go check that. I mean, do you have like there's a Facebook page for it or something that people can?
Yeah, it's on
right?
it's on Bandcamp also. The whole album's up now on Bandcamp, and then the physical copies are out. Wait, I think there's one here. Yeah.
There's just a bunch of them sitting around Waffle House.
Yeah, it's like Waffle House is the new Starbucks.
Wait, I have to turn my background off so you can see this.
Just hold it in front of your face.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Fancy.
There you
That's
go.
Fits of Hail, FITSOFHAIL. Super good stuff. Worth checking out. Yeah, otherwise, I mean, glad you're healthy and well.
Yeah, it's nice to see you guys. Hopefully, things are cool and spikes don't happen and stuff
Well,
like that.
we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, it's exciting times.
It's interesting times. I wouldn't say they're exciting.
Well, I mean, life and death is exciting.
I mean, is it?
No.
Nature teaches us nothing.
Yeah, it's
The point. That's not
nothing matters, and there are no ultimate consequences. You just
I can get on board with that.
You get smashed by a rock. Ah.
Slurmcast.com 216
438-1077.
438, yeah, 1077.
Slurmcastpod@gmail.com.
Email us. You could be on it.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have
12 open spots.
And in this final season, we intend to fill some of them up with some of our regulars and friends of the show. So if you want to get on, please message us early and often, and we can make it happen.
It's a good season. They wrap up a lot of stuff in a nice little
There are
way.
a lot of good episodes.
There's a lot of moments. There's a lot, I
Lovely.
mean, I cried. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, John, you cry a lot, though.
I honestly do. I'm not gonna lie about that either. It doesn't make sense.
Slurmcast Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Slurmcast on Facebook. Rate and review in iTunes. We appreciate it. And thanks for listening. We'll be back again sooner than usual, probably.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.